We'll go ahead and call to order. It's Monday, May 11th, 2026, 7 p.m. And welcome everyone for being here. We have a quorum tonight, and so let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, shall we?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. For the additions, deletions, and adoptions of the agenda, we have a few changes. First of all, I want to add hold it down back, please. I want to add a closed session at the end to counsel or to speak with our counsel or attorney. So we'll add that at the end as a closed session.
I'm just going to state the general statute 143-318A3 to consult with the attorney.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Can you add that into the minutes? Okay. Also, we're going to go down to the consent agenda. 9A. We're going to move that down to old business, which will become 10B. So 9A becomes 10B. Okay. All right. We're going to pull out we're going to get down to 911. And that is going to become 11D.
9D?
9D.
9D.
No, well, 9D is going to become 11.
Yeah.
11D. Did I say that wrong?
Yes.
Okay. So 9D is becoming 11D. Okay. All right. And is there any that I missed with you guys? Any other modifications? Are we good?
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as amended.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. All right. The agenda's approved as adopted. All in favor, and everybody's in favor, and it's adopted. The conflict of interest statement. In accordance with state law, it is the duty of every council member to avoid conflicts of interest. Does any council member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any matter or matters on the agenda? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in the matter involved. Any conflicts?
No.
Okay, no conflicts. Mayor and council member reports. Who wants to go first? Anyone? Tom?
Okay.
WUMA update?
Well, I'll give a WUMA update in that we were not, either one of us were able to attend the meetings with previous conflicts. The next meeting will be, if I look up this correctly, in June 25th at, hold on, at the town of Village of Marvin's Town Hall. That's where the next meeting will be. And I'll address anything about WUMA later. I do have a bit of an update on street repaving contracts. I was told that the contracts period closed and all had to be in last week on the 6th, and that after a couple of weeks, they would be able to process them through and have them ready for work to be looked at for after July 1. So we should, before the next meeting, get an update of what streets are going to be subject for resurfacing. That is what they tell me. I'll just leave it at that. So that is all I have to report, Mayor.
Okay. Anything? Since you mentioned streets, I'm going to go ahead. I was going to do it at the end, but under transportation, but I'm just going to mention, I talked with DOT actually today. And the light at Antioch Church in Forest Lawn, we've been it's been pushed down for so many months. It was supposed to be like, last fall, and by Christmas, then March. Now they're saying that light should be put in sometime in August, September. So it's August, September for that light that Antioch Church and Forest Lawn. So keep fingers crossed. So nothing else?
One comment
Okay.
in regards to CRTPO.
Okay.
I have noticed every time I'm driving from Ballantyne to Weddington on the highway, it shows the symbol with the green signs. It says 16 and then Weddington Road, and that is incorrect. It should be 16 Providence Road. I don't know if they, somehow, if they said Weddington, the town, that would be a little different. But every time I see it, it's an indication that it's incorrect. So I don't know if you could bring it to their attention, but that would probably behoove us and alleviate some confusion for people that
Okay.
may not know better.
And I'll mention it at the next CRPTO meeting
Thank you.
at the end of the month. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, we're going to move on to,
So you have anything?
Not
No.
today, thank you.
no, I'd already asked her.
Okay.
Public comments. Anyone for public comments? And Debbie?
Sorry, I should have done that. I'm on the outside.
Thank you. Okay. Sarah Jewell, come on up. Welcome.
Where should I speak? This one?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm here just to talk to you guys about what's come out of WUMA with the fluoride resolution. I know a lot of the other cities have actually made a resolution without input from the citizens, so I do appreciate you guys asking for input. I've been here before, the county commissioners, when they decided, based on the post-COVID backlash of medical freedom, to remove it from, it's like Monroe, I guess, east. It's different. The water's controlled, different areas. And I strongly oppose that medical freedom. For me, anyone who's running on medical freedom, they could literally have every issue I agree with. That is one issue for me as a healthcare professional. I'm a physical therapist, even though I'm retired. My son's in med school. I mean, I have lots of friends that are dentists. And it's old science, it's new science, it's well substantiated that fluoride is one of the best public health things that they've done since the 70s. There's areas where they've removed fluoride, and it is now they've seen a rapid increase in cavities. So I really think it's important, and it's not for people who are privileged to go to the dentist twice a year, who do fluoride treatments. It's for the people who don't have those things. And there are people in our county that don't have that. So I really strongly hope you guys make a resolution that you are for keeping fluoride. And I know you don't control it as part of the Catawba Water Reserve, but I would appreciate that, because that is one issue living here over 20 years. I've never heard anyone mention it's growth, it's schools, it's roads, it's infrastructure. Not one person, and I've been here a long time and I have a big mouth, has ever mentioned fluoride, except for Richard Daunt, who is from New Zealand, who, rammed that through with county commissioners, and I'm strongly against it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to read something I skipped over before I called Sarah up. The rules for public comment, and then we'll move forward. Public comments are limited to those that are germane to and within the jurisdiction of the town. Topics that are removed or impertinent from the business of the town shall be prohibited. Additionally, public comments shall not be on topics that are not allocated or specific or specified to public hearing time. Instead, public comments are limited to those that do not have allocated time under a public hearing. The comments are to be directed to the entire board and not individuals to the public attending the meeting. A designated spokesperson for a group of 3 or more may be allocated 6 minutes to speak. At least 3 members of the group must be present, and names and addresses of those members present must be submitted to the town clerk before the meeting begins. Other than that, pursuant to that, You may not give your time or another speaker any time to increase the speaker's allotted time. You must be civil in your language and presentation and act within reasonable standards of courtesy. Use of slander, name calling, personal attacks, or threatening speech or behavior is prohibited. The audience must maintain order or decorum in their conduct. Please refrain from disruptive applause, comments, or disorderly speaking during the meeting. Disturbances that disrupt the order and decorum of the meeting will be prohibited. The mayor or the majority of the board may suspend these rules at their discretion. Failure to abide by these rules after receiving notice from the mayor may result in 1, termination of your comment period, and or 2, your removal from the meeting. Okay. Clayton Jones, come up. You have 6 minutes. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Clayton Jones. I live on Panhandle Circle. I don't think I'm going to do any of those things, Mayor. I don't know. The things you just read there. I'd like you to meet my little friend here. This is Henrietta. She's my friend. She's Henrietta the chicken. Now, I know she doesn't look like a chicken. She actually, she wasn't so timid with all these people here. You probably hear her quack like a duck. If I dare to put her down, you'd likely to see her waddle like a duck. But she's a chicken because I call her a chicken. That's kind of like Weddington. We call Weddington a mayor council government. But we're not, are we? We're a duck. Because since September 2021, the job description for the town administrator and the town planner were changed. They were changed so that the town planner reported to the town administrator. And that made Weddington a de facto town manager council government nearly 5 years ago. And apparently none of you noticed that change. Well, I noticed when I got the agenda last Thursday that there was a rewrite of the job description for the town administrator and the town planner. And I was shocked to see that it was on the consent agenda. Because as you know, on the consent agenda, there's no discussion about it as to why you need to rewrite that job description. And there's no vote on it. You just vote on everything on the consent agenda. And I'm happy to see that you finally moved it to the regular new business agenda. So hopefully you can explain to the citizens here why it's necessary to rewrite those two job descriptions. But I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to tell them why you need to rewrite those job descriptions. This town needs to be thankful for Commissioner Ellen McLaughlin, because Ellen McLaughlin put on her detective hat. Now, Ellen and I, when we first joined the council, we knew something wasn't right here in Town Hall. We didn't know what it was. But we started asking questions. We started coming over here, looking at things. And I don't know how or she found it. But looking through the documents of the town council meeting of September 2021, and all those documents, she found the new job description for the town administrator and the town planner. And guess what they said? They said that the town planner reports directly to the town administrator, not to you guys, not to the mayor, not to the council. Town planner reports to her. And that is a de facto manager system. Now, Weddington, we've got nearly 14,000 residents here, maybe 14 plus, thereabouts. We only have 2 department heads. As big as we are, we have 2 department heads And for the brief time that I was sitting up here at this table, guess what? None of you, I didn't see any of you manage or direct either the town planner or even the town administrator. Doors were closed and locked when they should be open, and you didn't know why. You didn't know where people were. I'm going to ask you now, and you don't have to raise your hand, but I'm going to be shocked if there's one of you up there right now who knows how many vacation days our town administrator, Karen Dewey, has taken this year. How many vacation days? How many sick days has she taken since January? How much comp time has she accrued? She does a lot of overtime. How many comp time days does she have right now? And if any of you knows, I'm going to be shocked. I hope one of you do. Anyway, all right. That's because there is not a person among you who manages or directs any of our town department heads. Now, I was here back in January 2023 when Mayor Horn and the town council voted to make Weddington a real manager council system. I was here, and I remember the comments, and they said, well, it's not fair for the employees here in the town to have 5 bosses. I'm like, well, that makes sense. We can have 5 bosses, but they need to have at least one. It doesn't have to be all 5 of you being the boss of Karen Dewey and whoever you hire to be the new town planner. One of you ought to step up. That should be job one. Not building a park, not starting a student government, not trying to get some kind of thing to get Lancaster County to take fluoride out of the water. Job one is somebody needs to be over here and know what's going on. It's not that Karen Dewey isn't trustworthy. She's a wonderful person. I think she does a great job. But somebody has to be in charge, and none of you seem to be. So in January 23, Mayor Horn and the council there voted to make us a manager system. Mayor Horn had to vote because it was tied vote 2-2. Mayor Horn voted to do it. You'll find the document in your package that shows that. But the citizens of Weddington got all upset about that, and they started a signature writing campaign to get a referendum put on the November 23 ballot to try to change us back to a mayor council system. And sure, that was a lot of work.
Yep, I'm sorry.
Thank
Thank you,
The
Clayton,
rest
for-
of it is in my comments.
Thank you for
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
your
coming.
time.
And just for the record, we will be discussing that later on. Karen Walter, who is our normal attorney here, is not able to be with us tonight. So her partner, Kevin Bringelwatt from Bringelwatt, Walter and Snover Law Firm, who is a municipal law firm, very well respected throughout the state, is here, and he will speak on this later on and sort of explain. I think, Clayton, you're missing some points, but we'll talk about that later. So, so next, I'm sorry, go ahead and we're going to move forward. Clayton, take your seat, please. Christopher Neath, come on up.
Christopher Neve, 110 Chasestone Court. Many residents wanted to know what significant issues caused former council member Clayton Jones to unexpectedly resign last month. Our town planner resigned less than 2 weeks later. As a town, we were searching for answers. Clayton Jones just shared what he observed behind closed doors, and I would like to bring to your attention an issue that has been observed publicly: ethics violations by former mayor and current planning board member Bill Dieter. Bill Dieter is a leader of the Weddington Wall Group, of which each of you on council are a part. The Weddington Wall Group works in tandem with Preserve Weddington and Stewards of Weddington to craft messaging to support you, and over $71,000 was spent to secure your seats on council. Over $37,000 of that came from one single family. Shortly after you all became a controlling majority, Bill Dieter was appointed to the Planning Board, Historic Preservation Commission, and is the chair of the Board of Adjustment. Last year, he was a strong proponent of a revision to our Code of Ethics agreement for all advisory board members. The revision read, quote, Board members shall refrain from publicly commenting, discussing, or expressing opinions about pending or potential projects outside of duly noticed meetings. This includes refraining from making public comments through social media. While discussions about this were taking place, Bill Dieter stated, quote, "I am not active on social media, but I used to be an administrator, then later a moderator on Preserve Weddington. But when I got on the planning board, I was saying, remove me as a moderator, remove me as an administrator. I'll read posts that are out there, but I don't respond and I don't weigh in. This revision was approved by council and added to the current code of ethics agreement. I am proud of the professionalism and work accomplished by our planning board. To my knowledge, every member takes pride in their role and abides by our code of ethics agreement except Bill Dieter. Bill Dieter regularly violates this agreement. He expresses opinions regarding current projects on social media and in person. He violates other sections too. He is disrespectful toward residents with whom he disagrees, and he has proved himself to be untrustworthy regarding the information he shares. After a public post was shared mentioning our mayor's financial ties to a developer with a current project proposal, Bill Dieter quickly responded. After degrading the resident, he referred to our mayor's publicly reported financial transaction from the developer as a bribe and called the information that was shared an undocumented conspiracy. This unethical behavior has not gone unnoticed by residents, and a comment that followed read, quote, "Bill, one would hope and think that someone in your position would choose their words wisely, but we see your hatred towards someone hinders that ability. Bill Dieter is a leader of your Weddington Wall team and has personally donated to your campaign both time and money. He is a direct extension of this council and was appointed by you. Is this behavior consistent with who each of you are on this board? Are you proud of his actions? Because they are a reflection of you. With so much diminishing trust in our town right now, I believe steps need to be taken to correct this issue in an attempt to restore faith in our legislative processes and improve our town's integrity. Not only did Bill Dieter support the code of ethics document he is violating, he signed his name directly under the last section, which reads, quote, a violation of this code of ethics by an appointed member of a town advisory board may subject a member to discipline by the town council up to and including removal from the advisory board. When new appointments are made, you express how difficult the decision was to fill a seat because there are always so many good qualified applicants wanting to serve. If corrective action is not taken, it will diminish the reputation of our boards, each of you on council, and our town. There is no doubt he is emboldened in his actions because of his relationship to each of you and the groups that support your team. I ask that you set aside personal bias in your decision-making process and do the right thing in an attempt to restore the trust with the residents that has been lost. Thank you.
Anne Marie, come on up. Welcome.
Not quite as tall as Christopher, so thank you. Anne Marie Cruz, live at the Hunter Farm across the street. I wanted to make comments tonight because there are several issues in the town that are causing distress. I'm thankful to Clayton that he came tonight. The lack of information has caused a lot of angst and anxiety for residents. I'm grateful that he at least came to share his perspective. I'm hopeful that the stepping down of Greg as our planner will lead to additional conversations. And my hope that this evening, Mayor Bell and I talked about this earlier, is that we will have a very clear plan and explanation for how the seat for Clayton's District 3 seat will be filled. I'm grateful that we have our attorney representative present to help us walk through all of the different steps and actions that have been taken, and that we have a clear path forward. I'm asking the town council and our mayor to be thoughtful in the approach in which we fill this seat. I'm also asking for additional transparency around the park and the funding so that everyone can feel that they have a voice and understand the different processes that are taking place. I think that's very important. And then the other thing I would ask of this council is that publicly and privately, when hearing of certain things that you know not to be true, my ask would be that you would dispel those rumors publicly and privately, or when you know misinformation is being shared. I think that what we are asking for our council and from our mayor is that we have an elevated sense of trust. There have been a lot of things that happened throughout this election cycle and in the months that have followed that have led the town to feel what I was hoping to be a coming together has become an even more of a tearing apart. I have been publicly and privately supportive of the park in some form or fashion and the Park and Advisory Committee because I want our town to have community. I want us to have a place to come together. And my hope is that through transparency and open and honest conversation, that can be restored. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Anne Marie. David Vanderloop, come on up.
Mayor, council, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
You're welcome.
I live at 219 Cary Lane, and I came to talk about the Bonner Drive cut through that's being discussed. I just wanted to say, I'll try to be brief. Our roads there are very narrow. They're only 18 feet wide, and I walk on Amanda and Cary and Bonner Drive just about every day. We already have lots of cut through traffic over there. And the people that are cutting through it, it could be neighbors as well, but the speed limit's 25. Most people are going 45 coming through there, so we don't need any more of that. We've also got people walking every day, walking animals, children playing, so it's just not safe for to have a cut through with more traffic. So I just ask that you would override the planner's approval of that. I know I've heard that Toll Brothers is not necessarily interested in putting that through there. It may be the NCDOT trying to push that. I'm not sure why, but Toll Brothers has plenty of room on the road front to put that through. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Great. Thank you, David. I think it's Margaret. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
So, yeah, thanks. My name is Dr. Margaret Lockery. I'm a pediatric dentist and have been practicing in the Union County and have a practice in Matthews, Waxhaw, and Steel Creek. So I've been here since 1991. So have seen taken care of many weddings children, and I'm here to speak in strong support of fluoridation of the water supply. So as a pediatric dentist, I get to see patients that are special needs adults as well as children with medical compromises. A lot of times these people have Medicaid, they have trouble affording good dental care, and the fluoridation of the water is the #1 source of anti-caries, anti-cavity things that they get during their lifetime. So if we take fluoride out of the water, it's not going to be immediate. We won't see a rise in cavities immediately because the way fluoride works is it incorporates into the enamel of the teeth and strengthens them and is anti-cavity. The science is out there. It is in every journal. The science that you might see is on the internet. That's not always good science. They just had a study that came out last month, and I was contacted by one of the news agencies to comment on it, and it was a huge study done in the Midwest, and it was looking at fluoride and IQ, and it showed there was no correlation between between the amount of fluoride that we use. The IQ and fluoride studies have been in other countries where the fluoridation levels are like 3 and 4 and 5 times what we would use here. So I would encourage you to think about your fellow community members. We're not forcing people the water that you all have right there probably doesn't have fluoride in it. So you can find water without fluoride in it if you want to drink, but just think about the community members that don't have money to see. Dental care is very, very expensive. I mean, I know, look at my house in Weddington. No, I'm kidding. No, but it's very expensive. It's hard for kids to access. I see a lot of kids that have heart transplants. They all have to go to the OR to get their dental care done before they get their transplants because you can get infections from the teeth that go right to your heart. Our special needs adults, they have so much trouble accessing dental care. We have to sedate them. We have to, so it's not just us. Like I have nice teeth. I'm sure most of you do too. But, we're trying to look out for the least of our community. And even in Weddington, we have people that need help with that situation. So please support fluoridation of water. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. That's all of our public comments. And we're going to move on to, and thank you everybody for your comments. We're going to move on to our public safety report. So one of the deputies, I'm not sure which one's coming. Lieutenant May, thank you for being here tonight.
Well, good evening to the council, to the residents that are here, and I assume we're being live streamed, so the residents at home.
Yes.
I don't get to make it out to town of Weddington as much as I'd like for the council meetings because I know that David Plyler and formerly Grant Wren have done such a good job of holding things down. But when I get a chance to come out here, I come out here. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is James May. I'm the lieutenant for Sheriff Eddie Cathy, who supervises 5 small town contracts, town of Weddington being one of those. So in the essence of time, I'm going to get started. Just want to highlight some of the work that the deputies have done this month, and in one case in particular, and I took the chance to do this because David's not going to brag on himself, so I'm going to take the chance to do it for him. We've had 663 preventative patrols this month. That's just our Weddington deputies. That is when you see a marked car in your neighborhood with the blue lights on, maybe they're not on, but they're just checking to make sure that everything is calm, everything is quiet. You're not supposed to say quiet in first responder world, but we're saying it. So everything is quiet. We've had just over 31 business checks. That's pulling on doors, making sure that the doors are locked, no signs of breaking and entering. So these guys are out checking our businesses as well as our neighborhoods. Residential checks, which is something I'd like to hit on for just a second. We only had 6 this month. That's not because we're not out there trying. That's because people keep going on vacation without filling out that residential check form for us. If you're going to, and I say this on this side of the county because congratulations, most folks out here are very successful. If you're going to go to your vacation home for the winter or your vacation home for the summer, or if you're just going to go on vacation, fill out that residential check on our website. We come by and check your house. It's free. You can tell us exactly what we're looking for or what should not be there. And if there's any issues at your home, we will be the first ones to call you and let you know and to investigate that for you. E-bikes, e-motorcycles, we're still seeing a lot of 911 calls for that, a little bit less than last month. And that's partly because of deputies like Deputy Plyler and the rest of our Weddington deputies. We've started putting these e-motorcycles on the back of tow trucks. We've started, unfortunately, having to write citations to parents. But just earlier today in Indian Trail, and while all the information is not out there because it's still being developed, we had a 12-year-old get hit on a scooter. They had to fly him out in a helicopter. He should be fine. But the scooter was going about 20, 25 miles an hour when he got hit. So we are trying our best to let kids be kids while at the same point in time keep them from getting hurt or killed. I don't know where the answer is. It's a fine line for us on the enforcement side. A little bit of the guidance that we've been handing out to neighbors and residents in the area is please continue to call 911 if it feels like you should call 911. If it's got pedals and it's on the sidewalk or in the grass, you probably shouldn't call 911 for that. But if it's on the road doing a wheelie and running you off the road, we need to know about that. So we're trying to keep these kids safe while still keeping them off the video games. So please continue to help us with that as we work through that. And last but not least, I want to tell you about a case that Deputy Plyler himself investigated this month. And it's I was looking at quotes before I got up here. And the easiest one that I'll say is teamwork makes the dream work. I could go a lot. Henry Ford had a great quote, but I can't talk about Henry Ford because I'm a Chevy guy. So I'm just saying that David had a case this past month that he could have just let go to our detective bureau, but he took immediate action. Our flock cameras that we installed within the last year or two, between the support of the town, between the support of the board, and between our constant coordination with Miss Karen and the town staff here, picked up a stolen motorcycle on Weddington Matthews Road. We immediately got the notification. David was close. I should probably stop hitting that. Sorry, WCNC. Okay, we're just going to leave that. David picked up the tag, and he knew, based on it was a motorcycle, it was a really bad-looking motorcycle, really rough. We knew one of the houses it'd probably be going to. So he set up at that house. The guy driving the motorcycle barely got there before he did. He picked up the stolen motorcycle. We recovered it, got it back to the victim in Charlotte. We recognized who the offender was based on interviews conducted at the house that day. So from the time we got the stolen vehicle hit to having the vehicle back in our custody in the victim's hands and having felony charges on the person responsible for stealing and riding that motorcycle through our county was about a 2-hour time period, which if it's not First 48 or not CSI, but that's pretty quick for cop world in real life. So as a result of that, Charlotte took out a bunch of charges for the person stealing that motorcycle, along with several other criminal offenses in Charlotte. We have kept that house hot, trying to find the offender. And needless to say, it has quieted that area down because we put marked patrol cars in the driveway as much as we can. So we're still looking for this person. And we've got our SHIELD unit, which is our warrant squad at the sheriff's office, looking for that. We expect to have him in custody at any point in time very soon. But once again, I just wanted to take a moment to brag on it because it's something that he could have just went out and took a report for and said, hey, I'll just let the detectives handle it. Nope, he stayed on it. ID'd the bad guy, got charges very quickly. But all in all, I say that none of that would have been possible that quickly without those flock cameras in place. That's an investment in security. It's an investment in success. And for those of you that don't know, I'm going to take a moment to brag on Miss Karen and the staff and the board. You can't just slap a camera up anywhere. I'm from Unionville. I'm from the north side. So I'm going to use my language. You can't just stick a camera up in somebody's yard. You've got to have permission. You've got to have the right place. You've got to have the right traffic. It took us months to get all this set up. And without coordination from the staff, without coordination from the board, and ultimately the support of the residents, we would not have been able to make that happen. So like I said, we plan for success, and it's usually always successful, right? And in this case, it was. So I just wanted to say thank you. We're going to continue to push our guys and girls out on the street as hard as they can to work hard. But we would not be successful without your continued support. And I say that to everyone in the room and everyone at home. So once again, Lieutenant James May, I'll give you my cell phone number if you need it. If you want to reach me quickly, 911 is the best way. But if not, we're going to keep doing what we're doing out here. And please call us if you need us. So anybody have any questions for us tonight? Thank you. Appreciate it. David, did you pay her already, or are we paying her again? Okay, all right. Thanks.
No, I want to say thank you, Lieutenant May, Deputy Plyler. You guys do it. You know this already. You guys do an awesome job, and we really appreciate what you do. So thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda as we modified it earlier? So consent agenda as adopted. You get a motion? Okay.
Make a motion to
Oh.
accept the consent agenda.
That's adopted. Okay. All in favor? Okay. Unanimous. Okay. We're going to move into old business. Discussion of a resolution in support of proposed legislation to prohibit the addition of fluoride in public water systems. And Tom, since you sort of brought this to us last month, I want to let you kick it off. How about that?
I will
And before you say that, I want to say thank you so much for all the emails that we got and on both sides. And we really appreciate the community involvement, feedback. So, and we got quite a few. So again, thank you. And we really need and want to hear from everybody on whatever the subject matter is. And so we really appreciate this. So I'm sorry, Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, I am the town's representative to the Western Union Municipal Alliance, which we call WUMA. And several months ago, they brought this up as a topic to be discussed amongst the towns. And they asked that the towns consider a resolution basically to have fluoride removed from the water. Now, we take that very seriously, a request. So we brought this based on resolution formed by, I believe it was Marvin. And as an example, with no opinion on what we would do or not do, we asked the citizens to give us the input of what y'all thought was best for us to do. The town of Marvin, Waxhaw, and Wesley Chapel have approved a resolution to remove fluoride. And a context is that Eastern Union County is served by Union County water out of the Yadkin or PD River Basin. They do not fluoridate. We, in the western part of the county, are served by the Lancaster water system that Union County acquires it from for our use over here. Lancaster water system does fluoridate their water. That's just the way it is. So what we did is we brought it back. We asked y'all to email us, make public comment, call us or whatever. And based on that, we would look at what the will of the people was on whether we would make a resolution or not. And that's how we got to where we are. None of us are here saying we support or don't support or whatever. Personally, I'm on well water. It does not affect me. I think Darcy and Jim are on well water. It does not affect them. So we wanted people who were affected to make comments on whether we should make a resolution or not. So that's how we got to where we are. It wasn't something we thought up out of the blue. We were asked by the other towns to consider this. So that is what we have done, and that's why we're here tonight.
Okay. And just to let you know, as far as the ones who reached out to me about, I'm just going to throw it out, 68% of the residents said that they wanted to leave it alone as it is now with the fluoride. 32 said, take it out. But we had, 2/3, say, hey, we like it like it is.
Leave us alone.
Yeah. And so that's sort of where, what I saw from this. And I had other dentists to reach out to me. And in fact, one dentist told me, he said, hey, take it out. It'd be great for my business. And so, but no, we needed to hear everybody's input. And is there anything that anybody else would like to add to this?
I literally kept a running list. And to me, that was important. What I wanted to do was hear my concerns personally have always been about PFAS, and that's a different situation than fluoride.
Yep.
Fluoride, we wanted to hear what you had to say, and I think we did. And
Right.
so, at least in my opinion, I would suggest that we not make a resolution. And so we can just, if that's
Right.
how the rest of us feel,
Well, and I'll say this, if we don't have a motion, then then it will die here at the
at the table.
dais. Yes. So I'm just going to ask, do I have a motion? And if no motion, then it will just die here at the table. Okay. Is that okay? All right. So we're not going to have a motion on this. So this subject is dead,
Closed.
and we'll move forward from here. Is that correct, Attorney? Okay. So we're good. And again, thank you for your input, and we really appreciate that. And so this matter's over.
I'll say one last
Mhm.
little thing is that I appreciate the commitment that the people have to this town to share their opinions with us. That's exactly what we want. We want people to be engaged, and thank you.
No, and just because the other towns, they either do what they do at times, doesn't have a bearing on us. We're Weddington, and we are here to serve the residents here. So Tom, through Woman, like you said, just said, hey, I'll bring it, up here, and we'll discuss it. And so,
We have.
and we did.
We have.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, let's move forward then.
10B.
10B is the approval of the 2013, not 2013, it's the April 13th, 2026 Town Council regular meeting minutes. And I think you had
just
something you
had
want to
a-
fix on that.
Yeah, I just had a minor modification. The 5th Park Advisory Event Committee member was not unanimously approved. I had dissented, so that's the only change.
Okay, got that? Is that all?
Mhm.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I
this?
make a motion to approve the amended minutes.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. Okay. All right. We're going to move forward to the new business discussion of municipal forms of government. Okay. And again, I want to say, I'm going to say, we're not incorrect in what we're doing here, but I want to have our attorney to speak into this. And again, our attorney is Kevin Ringawat from Ringawat, Walter and Snover, a municipal law firm. They're not just a law firm that just does, jack of all trades. Highly respected law firm. We're not the only municipality in the area. They represent, 5 or 6 other larger municipalities than us. And even, I think you guys are even into represent the school districts of, is that correct in some way?
Yes, sir. We do 5 municipalities and local government. If I were a bigger law firm, I'd say I have a healthcare division, a education division and municipal. division.
Right.
So
Even I think
that's what we do.
Union County Schools, Mecklenburg, Gastonia, Gaston County Schools, that kind of stuff. So these guys aren't a fly-by-night type firm. I respect their opinion. And so I'm going to ask Kevin, if he doesn't mind, to just educate us a little bit here. And we can throw in some, input as well. But if you want to lead us, I'd
Sure,
appreciate
I'll be
it.
happy to, and feel free to ask.
And is
questions
your
along the
mic
way.
on? Because I want to make sure everybody hears this.
All right, I think I'm on. Everybody hear me okay? Very good.
All right, go ahead.
So you asked me just to talk a little bit about the two forms of government that you could have, right? So we've got the mayor council form of government here. That's in contrast to the council manager form of government. And so what you have with the mayor council form is that you all, and you all meaning a majority of you all, whenever you all decide, end up really being in charge of not only the legislative function of passing budgets and your ordinances, but you have the executive functions as well. Really, as a starting point, if you had no employees at all, you would be the council and the manager, if you like that analogy. And so then what you can do, you have the authority to delegate specific tasks and assignments to a staff and an administrator, which is what you have done. There's a lot of flexibility. What's not legal is you can delegate it in a variety of ways. I don't have anything to tell you legally to say it has to be done in one particular way, that your administrator's duties or your planner's duties have to be one particular way. What the state statutes say is that you all are in charge of organizing the government function, and then you can change it from time to time. Okay. A simple difference, if you all were mayor, if you were manager, right? There's state statutory obligations that go with the manager that you all are not allowed to change. In your form, it's your discretion. And the primary difference really boils down to the ultimate decision-making on hiring and firing employees. So the decision ultimately rests with the majority of the council. So it's really that, I mean, to me, it's that simple from a legal perspective. I certainly would raise my hand if I thought you all were doing something that was outside of the statute or what you're authorized to do. I think you're certainly well within legal bounds, and what I think may be a fair policy discussion, I think we'll get to this when we get to the job descriptions, is I'm sure there's plenty of room for people to have different business and policy decisions over how they would like things to be delegated to staff, and what things that you all handle and what things staff handles, and how, what positions you even have on a staff to begin with. So my view of it is that there can be, I'd use the word delegation. I think there's plenty of room for you all to discuss how you want to delegate the authority. I do not see any legal concerns or somehow that you're outside of your statutory authority.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I know past councils, mayor and councils, have at times given certain responsibilities to the administrator, which is not outside the bounds of what they can do. And it doesn't change our form of government to give certain responsibilities to the administrator. Just because you may say, hey, we want you to do this or that, does not change the form of government. Is that correct, Kevin?
Yes, sir. That's right.
Okay. And so what the way the town is operating is not incorrect. I think sometimes people look at, maybe how they would like to manage the town. And like you said, there can be differences in opinions on that. So I think the way the town is operating now, we're just like you said, we're in our scope of authority, and we're not doing anything outside of that's not right. I will say this, we do have the planner and the administrator's job descriptions that we're going to talk about just in a little bit. When I know when the three of us came on board 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago now, our goal was to tighten up the UDO, tighten up development, and those type things, because I felt like, in my opinion, the developers were coming in and telling us, what to do. And so I wanted to reverse that and say, hey, this is what we want out of you, and this is what the town wants. And so instead of them running the show, we've been swapping that around to tighten that up so the town has control of what we get in this town and the kind of development. We are not a commercial destination, as I've always said. We are a high-end residential community, and that has been my push and my desire to keep that. It's a win-win for the town. It's a win for the residents. It brings up property values, and so when you sell your home, you're gonna be feel good about it. So our goal has been to tighten up UDO. Now we're working on code enforcement. We've given directive to the staff. I think it was the last not planning board meeting, but the last council meeting, to work with code enforcement to start tightening that up. We had decided to back in January, February, even at our retreat, to start looking at town policies. So this has been in the works for a while, and I appreciate Ellen for pointing out some things, and she's been awesome with digging into a few things. Clayton, unfortunately, he didn't stick around long enough to do that. But I appreciate the effort with those two. And so now the town is not only has been tightening up these others. Now we're looking at policies for the town. And like I said, this is nothing new, just like last month or whatever. We started this back months ago. And as you know, government works slow, and so it's not like, hey, you make a decision today and tomorrow it's changed. It takes time. It takes ordinance changes and that kind of thing, and policy changes. So that's where we're at with this. And it's a work in progress. So we're not, it's not something that we're going to talk about and finish it tonight. It's a work in progress. So, and as we find things that we want to, just like the UDO is still in the progress, we're going to change these things. We're going to tighten it up. Again, some things that has been done in the past, they're not wrong. We're not the wrong form of government. Back 4 or 5 years ago, the town voted in a referendum that 80% of the folks did not want the change of government, and it's not changed. That little, I think someone made reference, or maybe one of the comments was in the planner's description, he answers to the administrator. Well, that wasn't incorrect. He still answers, the planner and the administrator still answers to the council. And that little description, and we've changed it so people used. The day-to-day operation, the administrator keeps up with your sick time. If you're coming in late, she keeps up. I say she, Karen in her case, keeps up with the day-to-day. It's just the muck of running the town with the operation. Sick time, vacation time, and that's part of the responsibilities of the administrator. And so say that that statement was incorrect. Not really, it was not incorrect. He does, or answer to her as far as that kind of thing. If you look at the council, I think the statement was made. The council never gives direction to the staff, to administrator or the planner. It's totally incorrect. There's plenty of times through almost every council meeting, we'll look at the administrator or the planner and say, can we get a head nod? Can you go ahead and move forward on this or that? So the council is constantly giving direction to the staff, and so none of that's incorrect. So you can go back and look at any council meeting and determine that for yourself. So and so it's not just this that you see here during the council meeting, but we're constantly engaged here at Town Hall. I talk to Karen almost every day. Send her emails, so she's, I'm sure, tired of hearing from me. and call her on the phone, and the council does as well. So the council is engaged. I'm sorry that some people, stick around long enough to realize that. So I don't think nothing is incorrect here, and I'm rambling on by saying, the town is running smoothly in that regard.
I have a comment. If I look at this document that you've provided though, and it says, under the mayor council form of government, that with the administrator, the council retains the policy responsibility, but delegates some or all administrative duties to the administrator. The second one, which says administrator's duties are set by the ordinance. So, but we received actually an email today in regards to some discrepancies in that, in regards to the UDO, there were some administrator duties that have been set forth in there that really should be planner duties.
If I may, really quick, in the UDO, when administrator is referenced, it's referring to the zoning administrator, who is the planner.
Okay.
My duties as the administrator are outlined in the just plain old ordinances.
Do we need to say that in our UDO to put in there that it's the zoning?
I think it does, but when you've got it written 1,700 times or however many, it may bounce back to administrator,
Mhm.
but that's something that's understood by staff.
Okay, and I didn't know potentially, going back in time and looking at what happened in 2021, that there was an administrator who was also a planner.
Right.
I could easily see that there could be, in describing those job duties, in describing the UDO, that there could be confusion there. And that was why my head was, maybe that didn't get cleaned up back then.
I can give a little editorial
Yes.
comment on that since I was the primary drafter of
Okay,
the
that is
UDO. That UDO generally is tracking the state statute 160D, and that administrative terminology is also there. Okay, so, and I'll give this advice again when you get to the job descriptions. If depending on where you all want to land on these job descriptions, I do in fact think that a good legal exercise would be, after you all settle on definitive job descriptions, I think it would be wise to go back and look at your ordinances and see if there is any cleanup, corrections that need to occur to be consistent with any revisions to the delegations that you want to do. The UDO would be one place to look. I guess I would be surprised if there is anything in there that would materially change, because all of the decisions that are, the development decisions land with you all, right? I mean, everything that the planner administrator does is to recommend and do things to be ready for you. Now, whether there's terminology, the topic that just came up that we could, make easier to understand or so, that may be fine.
Some of it came from the town website also,
That may be.
under administrator versus under planner. And so that's where I'm like, so we can take that offline, but I think that needs to get flushed out.
And I'll add one more for you. Outside of the UDO, you also have a list of other ordinances that list
That's where it
out,
is.
right?
Yes.
That list out, what does the administrator do? What
Mhm.
does the planner do? I just said, you've got, what are the tax collectors
Right.
responsible? There's several job functions that, I don't know the full history. I think they've been in your ordinance
Right, but,
for a long time. So
and that's where I
again,
know.
to forecast my advice for the next agenda item, when you all settle on a definitive job description with, if you want more detail than's in a job description now, then we ought to go ahead before, in my mind, when you officially adopt that, we ought to have done the exercise at the risk of making a little bit of work for me and Karen. Once you all make that policy business decision, we ought to do the legal work to true up your ordinances with it.
Okay.
I'd have one comment too. Weddington is a town of 15,000 people, by far the largest
Correct.
town with the mayor council form of government. I think the next nearest town is near 2,000 people, if I understand correctly. And you look up there, there is mayor council without an administrator and with an administrator. And there's a big difference between the two. And I believe some people have taken to the heart without an administrator is what we're supposed to be doing. And we have a town administrator. And there's a clear difference between the two. I want to make that point.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor.
No, and in fact, you're right. When we went to the elected officials class, we've done it, we've done it a couple of times. I've done it a couple of times. In fact, the League of Municipalities use us as an example for all the other cities across the state that we are the largest town in the state that has this form of government. And so the next one is, like Tom said, is like, what, 2,000 people. And so, but I do think, with our staff, I think we're fine where we're at. But I think we do operate correctly. That anyone else have anything to add to this conversation as far as until we move on? And we have other discussion. We're going to talk about the item D, the planner and the administrator's roles. But anything else in this form of government discussion? Okay, so we're gonna move forward on this. Item B is discussion of council District 3 vacancy. And a lot of what Clayton's comments were, the council and staff are greatly appreciative of Clayton's time and dedication and service to the community. His contributions to the town were valued, and he will be missed. This, unfortunately, I feel like I felt like I wish he'd have stuck in there. Let's put it that way. And I still consider him a friend and value his input and respect him in his Well, I just grew to respect him and value his input and his friendship. But, and I'll say this, if you live in District 3 and would like to, apply, our appointments are coming up. It'll probably be, I'm going to assume July, maybe we'll do the appointments. But I'm going to ask Kevin also to speak into this. I think there's some misunderstanding about this, how appointments or to fill a position is done in North Carolina. If you look at how the county just did it, how Charlotte is about to do it, I think there's some misunderstandings about that as well. Can I get you to speak on that, how it's done?
Yes, sir. And again, the starting point here is that all municipalities are creatures of the North Carolina General Assembly, right? Whatever Raleigh tells us is kind of the rules. And so here I can be really brief. That what's pulled up here is the North Carolina statute. A vacancy that occurs in elective office of a city shall be filled by appointment of the city council. That's it. That's all that we can do.
No elections or anything?
No.
It's an appointment?
It's an appointment.
Yep.
And then the rest of that legally says that appointment is up until the next election.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay,
So-
so you've got some flexibility. Again, the legal parameters are you have to appoint, you have some flexibility on exactly how you're going to collect names or nominees, which I believe will be
Correct.
what's next step. So
Right.
it's that first sentence.
And so everybody's clear, the appointment will be until the next election. It's not to fill the term of 4 years, it's to the next election. Now that person can run again, and but that seat will be up for election. So just want to make sure everybody knows that it's not for a 4-year appointment, it's for the remainder until the next election. And if you live in District 3, please reach out. I don't normally take, but I'll Sarah.
When would that next municipal election be? It's not in November, correct?
No, it's not this one.
Following November.
Yeah, it's like a,
Yes, 2 years.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to.
yeah, year and a half. So
If it's to the next election, how are you going to do the staggering again?
yeah, we have to get back on track with our So the next election, then that person who wins that election will be for 2 years. Then that gets us back in that on track. If that makes sense? Okay. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that, okay?
I have some, if now
Sure.
is a good time.
Is it about this here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So I have some comments. This is in regards to, it's kind of an overarching theme, but obviously Clayton leaving and all of the hullabaloo that has come as a result of it. So April brought significant upheaval to our town government with the resignation of Councilmember Jones and the departure of our town planner. Disagreements are a natural part of public service, but these events are also highlighted a broader concern about leadership style, discerning the appropriate balance of responsibilities between council and staff. Political opponents view this change of personnel as an opportunity to accuse and cast doubt on the entire Weddington government. Your job as citizens is to discern fact from fiction. Watch previous planning board meetings. Listen to the requests from council members at previous council meetings. Watch who is actually working on behalf of citizens, not just complaining about elected officials or for their future campaigns. Like truly look at why are they complaining. Our requests have been for completed applications and nothing about conditions. My plea to you is to do something positive for the community, to help us move forward from our current situation. But to do so, I need to first address the constant malicious allegations. I'd like to dispel the rumors and deal in facts. The areas I will highlight are leadership style, campaign donations, and seeking a replacement. I believe council members were elected to actively lead, to ask questions, research issues, review information, and most importantly, deliver results for residents. That responsibility requires meaningful access to information and to open communication among elected officials and staff. Now, right now, during one of the most important times of the year for all of us, it involves contracts, reviews, budget decisions. I still don't have access to some key shared drives and documents that are necessary to fully do that job. Access to town documents is essential to reviewing contracts, understanding deliverables, and making informed decisions on behalf of our community. This is how accountable government should operate, and I hope that we can work together to make this happen. There have been allegations that something nefarious has happened. It did not. It comes down to a difference in leadership styles. Some leaders work towards consensus, keeping all parties informed and a cohesive team. That is how I manage. Other leaders work with a few key players and rely on them to accomplish their tasks. These styles influence how town hall works on a day-to-day basis. As you can tell, there is debate about how much control to relinquish to staff and the delicate balance of responsibilities. Questions about micromanaging versus laissez-faire, autonomy versus oversight, autopilot versus active engagement. I recognize that I may be challenging the status quo by asking more questions. I am the newbie, requesting additional information and expecting consistent communication. That may create more work at times, but I believe that the efforts are necessary to build a stronger, healthier, long-term working relationship within our government and the residents that we serve. Because of a number of public allegations and misunderstandings, they've centered around campaign finances, I believe that it's important to address those concerns factually and directly. During the campaign, Mayor Bell, Clayton Jones, and myself campaigned together as a slate and shared certain permitted advertising and campaign expenses. Our group shared those expenses during the campaign, and those costs were divided equally among the slate. Shared expenses were paid at different times by different members and then properly reimbursed and reconciled as an in-kind contribution, fully documented with receipts and handled exactly as recommended by one of North Carolina's most respected campaign finance accountants. To put it simply, if someone donated to Clayton, that donation belongs solely to Clayton's campaign. That same applies to Mayor Bell or any other candidate. Contributions do not cross lines. They do not become commingled. or somehow turn into shared money simply because candidates campaign together. The accounting is straightforward for anyone willing to actually read the reports before making accusations. Some people seem far more interested in creating suspicion rather than understanding the facts.
Right.
I have always been transparent about my priorities and my vision for Weddington, and I remain grateful to the residents who place their trust in me. But I will be very clear on this, but no contribution buys my opinion, my judgment, or my vote, ever. My responsibility is and always will be to listen to the residents of Weddington, to carefully evaluate the issues before the council, to protect the character and integrity of our community and serve the best interests of the residents. Finally, I'd like to say I'm genuinely saddened by Clayton's departure. We worked closely together. We rolled up our sleeves and immersed ourselves in the details of municipal government. I will miss his friendship, his camaraderie, and perspective. Some have portrayed this departure as evidence of some hidden or dark secret. As an elected official serving on this council, I can attest to that this is not the case. In my view, it reflects a difference in approach on leadership and philosophy of how government should function. But while Clayton chose to step away, and as a consequence created some instability in our town, I remain committed to doing the work from within, to continuing to ask questions, advocate for transparency, and serve the residents of this town to the best of my ability. We currently have a vacancy in District 3, and I encourage qualified residents who are interested in serving to apply. Despite differing opinions, this council continues to move forward on the behalf of the residents of Weddington, and I remain optimistic about the work that is ahead. At the end of the day, resignations reflect individual decisions and circumstances, and public speculation often does not tell the full story. My focus remains on continuing the work ahead and serving the residents of Weddington. Thank you.
That was good. Thank you. Appreciate it. No, and I will say this, you're spot on. Thank you for what you said. Social media can be a good thing and it can be a horrible thing. And I think a lot of times folks use it to spread misinformation. They'll take a little bit of truth and just twist it until it's something that's not true for political gain. And I think it's unfortunate, in a small town as we have, continue to see it and continues to get worse. It's like Anne Marie, made a comment about the town. It's dividing more. A town that's when I first got elected the first term, I referred to us as just a big family, and it seems like the family is I don't know what's happening to the family. And I think a lot is for political gain and just misinformation. There's a lot of misinformation out there for various reasons. Sometimes, misinformation is just people who don't understand. And I felt a need to put the form of governments on the agenda tonight. I don't think that was, for political reasons. I think it was just a misunderstanding and it needed to be clarified. And we are working forward to solve some of the, I don't say problems, it's just different styles in how the town is run. And our form of government's correct. So we're tweaking and we will still tweak, just like we're tweaking the UDO and in code enforcement. So it's an ongoing process. You may see us, adopt something tonight. Doesn't mean it's final. It means we will tweak it as we see necessary. So I urge the town, to come back together, cut some of the craziness out of misinformation. And I'm just going to say, just be honest with you, some of this is outright lies. And even with the campaign donations, to makes it sound it's one way, then then it's tweaked and presented on social media as something totally different, which is not. It's not correct in so many different ways. And so I'm disappointed in a lot of folks who do that kind of thing. If you have a question about anything that we do, send us an email, call our staff. Our staff does an excellent job. It's unfortunate Clayton resigned. We can't talk about employee
Personnel.
personnel matters, that's actually against state law. And so even if we wanted to, we couldn't do that. And so the situation with Greg, that's a matter that will stay here, no matter what you guys want to spread and tweak and make out of whatever. That's an employee matter. So I'm rambling on, but does anybody else have anything just to add to this? Okay.
I don't know, maybe this is closing comment, maybe this is now, but we're
Okay.
like, as office that we hold, we cannot reply publicly to lies that are put online. We cannot stop someone during their 3 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever they have at the podium and say, no, that is not true information. So all we can do is sit here, and it's getting really frustrating to be someone who wants to. I'm not upset for the reasons people think I would be, because it's hard to be a person who wants to try to do good for this town in this town. It's miserable. And I suggest that the people that email me 52 times and have asked 16 times for records that keep Karen busy as all get out, because she's constantly looking through records for 16 words that she has to find that anybody texted, emailed, faxed, anything. And that's where a lot of her time is spent. And I know, because I have to go through my text and find 16 words and sometimes they don't even apply to anyone in this town. And I have to send them over and all these things. Like, you want to talk about transparency. I think we're transparent. Someone was talking about chickens and ducks. I think a chicken is someone who finds issues and then doesn't come to the meeting that everyone promised to be at, where the attorney was going to be there to lay out information and truths. And then we can't talk about closed information things. We can't talk about employees. We can't reply to when Christopher Neve is not saying whole truths. We can't do any of that. And you guys want transparency, but it has to work both ways. I don't have the time or the desire to sit here and care about what's being posted online or on the Neighbor. I'm getting screenshots. Sometimes I read them. A lot of times I don't, because I just don't care to sit here and fight the fight. If you all want decent people that, like, I think everybody up here wants good for the town, wanted good for the town, there becomes a point where people just don't care anymore. It's really hard to be in this position, not for reasons that people would think. I mean, I don't mind people disliking me. That doesn't bother me in the least. I always vote for what I think is right, but it is exhausting to always be wrong. I used to keep a task list of the things that we had done as a council. It doesn't matter. Like, there's 39 things that we've done since elected that are really good, huge benefits for everyone in the town, including cleaning up UDOs. No, we can't catch everything. And I wonder if Clayton himself would have caught this issue if Ellen wouldn't have been. Like, it's really easy to find a problem, not like it, and walk away. I would have done that a long time ago if I knew we could. But I stuck it out, and here I am. And this is like, thank you for the people who have stuck it out for this town, because I'm telling you, they do so much for this town, and the residents need to really check themselves about why they're doing what they're doing to make everything worse. Like, support people, run for office. If you're going to email me 52 times or you're going to ask 16 times for public records, run. You're in the district and you know who you are. You're in District 4. Run for it. Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
just
you. Thank you
over
so
it.
much.
Like, come on. Like, it's just exhausting.
And I will say too, you know, this council loves this town. We're not here for private gain or accusations that's always been thrown out at us that we're conniving with developers and we're in, you know, for whatever we can, you know, under the table money. I'm just tired of hearing it. You know, I've developed thick skin because all the lies and misinformation being put out there by the ones who are in this room. And I'm just tired of it. And it's, you know, I won't ramble on, but we all love this town. We all want the best for this town. And so unless there's anything else, then we'll move on to the next item. Okay. Discussion of consideration of proposal for intern planner to authorize the staff to enter into a contract for this position. So go ahead and explain that to us, if you don't mind.
So I reached out to three companies, Benchmark and Focus and Centralina, to get some proposals to have an interim planner come in. And Focus and Centralina came back, and I put those on the table there before you. I got one back this afternoon, so I haven't been able to compare them, and I haven't heard back from Benchmark yet. I did run the two I got through our friend Claude, and he did a little comparison there to just a high level figure out. They're not exactly the same. One is doing an hourly, one is doing as needed type. One includes the meetings, one doesn't, and it's a la carte type charging for those. And it's the differences in expertise. So we could have a high level planner for part of the time and a regular lower level planner, for lack of a better term, for part of the time. So anyway, that's those two, and I'm waiting on the third. And I just thought you guys would want to see that. But I'm not prepared to move forward with that today.
Okay. So we'll take this and sort of digest it. And when you get that, then
I'll send
the
it
next
on.
one or any others, just add that to us, and then we'll make a decision of when we're going to get together and to approve this. Is that good with you guys?
Can I make one comment?
Sure.
I just want to let staff know, the board know, that me personally do not feel it's appropriate for any developer to come before this council until we have an appropriate interim person in place to guide us with expertise. And if that means developers get to sit for a month or two, so be it. I will not take action on anything until we have somebody to give us professional guidance.
I think that's your discretion. That's your discretion. as the
And,
board.
and I talked with legal counsel this past week about that, and I think the attorneys, plural, were in agreement with that.
We are, and again, we can just move at a normal pace to get the interim position filled. If we're talking a month or two, I think that's the right plan.
Yeah, I mean, we're not looking to do some kind of a moratorium or it's just drag our feet. We need a planner. We need somebody that's excellent and somebody to fill that position. And so we're going to do our due diligence. We're not going to rush into anything, but we are going to, we're going to get somebody. But I totally agree. I don't feel comfortable as well moving forward until somebody's here.
All good.
Okay. All right. So
11D or the job description.
well, it's 11D. It came from
9.
Came from 9D, I believe.
9D. Yes, you're right. I had it written down wrong. The 9D is the approve the planner and town administrator / clerk job descriptions, and authorize staff to advertise for a planner. And we're going to talk about this for a little bit too. And we're going to look at doing I think getting the planner sort of revised so we can get that out there to start looking for somebody. And we may hold off and say, I'm going to use the term punt for the town administrator so we can get a little bit more detailed, work on that. And we had actually even talked about forming like a subcommittee of the board here for, and Ellen would
take
read
this
that.
on?
Yeah, go
All
into
right,
that
so here's what-
and go into that
So
until we
here's
get this
what
worked
I
out.
did. I spent a lot of time and I was digging through the job description specifically for the open planning position. I thought that there were, and Darcy, I put a document over there. I don't know if you've had a chance to take a look at it, but I made some modifications. The modifications are basically, I think, we need to, as a council, kind of set some expectations as to what we are looking for in the position. And specifically, I thought it would be helpful to add this little tidbit. The planner serves as a custodian of the town's long-term vision, community character, and development quality by proactively guiding land use and development proposals towards outcomes that enhance neighborhoods, infrastructure, aesthetics, and property values. So that way we are kind of setting the tone that we're looking for the planner to kind of work on behalf of the council to look for the longer term town vision. And so then I also added a couple of extra additional bullets because there seemed to be some discrepancies as to what we felt, or a little more of a blank canvas. And I think we needed to provide some details. So I am suggesting these modifications. Like, for instance, an example would be conducting an early review and a coordination meeting with applicants to identify potential concerns related to neighborhood compatibility, traffic, infrastructure, environmental impacts, architectural quality, and long-term community benefits. It's something that gives the planner then a sense that we're really looking for them to work with the developers to understand what we expect as a town. So I added these couple of things. I don't know if you guys are in agreement with them, but I'd like to possibly modify the job description to include these things. And then I think we still need to probably flush out a couple of additional things, and I may need some help from someone from the planning board to give me a sense of, like, I'm not exactly sure on overseeing labella inspections. Was that a part of the original duties or not? So it may kind of help to work with someone from the planning board to figure out if those should get incorporated over the
I'm
long
not
run.
sure that is actually a planning board function.
No, I'm saying, but maybe someone from the planning board would be able to assist by telling us, would that be something that the planner would have done typically?
In helping in working with the planning board, the planner working with the planning board.
Yes,
That's one thing.
Yeah.
yes.
But with the inspection oversight, that is not a planning board function.
I'm not saying that it is. What I'm saying
It
is that
sounded like the
but
way you read it.
no, what I'm trying to ascertain is, was that a responsibility that Greg had, right? Did he need to oversee Labella or not? And I can't see the contracts to know if he was supposed to oversee Labella or if Labella worked completely independently of him, right? And so maybe someone from the planning board could tell us if that was the case or not. And I'm using that as a,
I don't think the planning board does that function.
no, I
Because
understand,
the
but I'm looking
inspections-
for somebody to tell me what the planner did. And was that part of their
Well, the
responsibility?
contract with LaBella or any outside person,
Mhm.
we should look at to see what it says. How that's done, how it's oversaw, how we oversee that contract is a discussion.
It's not necessarily overseeing the contract. I'd like to know what his specific duties and responsibilities were with Labella. So in writing Greg's job description, and that may be a question for you, Karen, was that part of his responsibility to oversee Labella?
To work with Labella. They
Yes.
are, it's more, since they are a contracted engineer, it's more of a,
To
yeah,
work, okay.
yeah, we, all of us, I guess, well, Greg and I both direct the contract with Labella, so directed.
So
the
when
contract
something
with
were
Labella.
like the silk fencing or something was down.
Right. Well, that's
that
part of
would have
their,
been Labella independently,
right, and then,
regardless of Greg.
but, right, because that's part of our contract with them is the erosion control. But if Greg receives the complaint about it, he would direct Labella to go out and do the additional inspection and
Okay.
the violations.
Okay, but then that's where I was saying maybe it would be helpful to have someone with planning board experience to help us through some of these job descriptions.
I would
So,
just say again, if it related to the interaction with the planner and the planning board, I think that's correct. If it's looking at a contract
and I'm not talking about the
and
contract, yes.
the contract and the utilization of the people under the contract with Greg, that is a staff town council function, not a planning board
Mhm.
function.
Right, I'm just trying to work on the job descriptions.
I understand. But I think that still needs to stay here, not there.
Is that something you can work on and come back with a committee and come back and,
Well, then we just have to tweak the language to basically say he needs to, whoever would take the place, right? The
The
job
town-
description
the
would
town
be,
planner
right, the
needs
job
to-
description would need to say that they work with, in conjunction with.
Yeah.
Um,
Is
versus the word oversee.
Coordinate with, cooperate with.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have to go back and look at the detail we
Mhm.
have currently to see what the correct wording is. But yes, they need to basically, as we say, coordinate and make sure that any actions appropriate is taken. Any violations are noted, and anything that goes with that handled appropriately in the town. I said, I don't think, that's where I think you're talking about planning board gets into a different game. That's not where we go with that.
The planning board doesn't generally have anything to do with contracts.
That's not what I was suggesting.
It's okay.
I think what I was suggesting is I'd like to look at the job descriptions, and I need someone from the planning board to possibly give us some direction as to when we are writing for the planner and what their duties are, that they need to give us some input with that. And I think if we're gonna do that from a subcommittee standpoint, I think that would be important to have that perspective.
Is this something we can work on and come back to?
I think
Yes.
so.
Okay. Let's move forward with your other things and come back to that and work with the subcommittee of the, does that work for you? I'm not,
What part do you want to incorporate tonight into the job description?
So I would like to
Then look at
incorporate the
further-
first, the language that I here.
But that was given night and we're supposed to vote on it.
Well, these are some suggestions that I have.
So these would be great to have prior, probably. Like stressful to have to sit here during a meeting and try to read through a sheet and then say, you know,
So we could potentially have
that we're voting on it to add it or not.
well, I'm
Or
sorry
now,
to read through these documents, and you're at a critical position to be able to vote on the administrator and the planner job descriptions. So one of the options potentially is that we could have a workshop or have a subcommittee work on this
Mhm.
in the next week or so we can kind of work through it quickly and tighten up the language and modify some things.
Would you or
Nope.
Tom? Okay, so,
If Darcy doesn't want to, I will volunteer.
okay.
Everybody steps.
Could you guys work on the language of what you think
Mhm.
works for this?
Yes,
For
Is-
both positions
Yes.
and bring it back a
for a vote,
vote meeting.
correct.
If you
A
have-
special meeting if we need to work on it quickly.
Okay. Let me ask this, is there anything that we can do here to go ahead and throw this out so staff can start sort of advertising for a planner now? Or do we need to wait?
You gotta have the full job description.
So we,
What's
okay.
that?
Not without a job description.
Yeah,
You gotta
I
have
didn't know
the
if there's
full-
anything
you
we
gotta-
could do now
You
to
gotta
start
have the
moving.
full job description and we have to
So-
approve
Okay,
it and live with it.
so we need to move forward pretty quickly on this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll sort of,
So at this point, I think I can make a motion that we have a subcommittee to review the job descriptions and reconcile the information with our ordinances.
okay, I'm good. All in favor of doing that?
I'll just
Can I
say-
have who's on the subcommittee, please? Say that loud.
That would
The
be
two-
myself
Yeah,
and Tom.
I will say that once we get the job description, we do a cursory look at
Yes.
the UDO to see if we see there's discrepancies
Mhm.
and then pass it to council for review. And if any changes need to be made to the UDO to incorporate these changes, we all do it at the same time.
Sounds
Correct.
good. And Karen and I can be quick about it. If you all put your heads together and touch base with planning staff and get us a draft, we'll
Yeah.
true up with the UDO. And I mean, we may not need to do anything. I mean, your ordinance is pretty general with the UDO and
I think it
your
is
main
too.
thing. But like you said, we'll be quick
Okay.
about it.
do we even need a vote on this? Do we need a motion or just give the head nod to have the staff to move forward as we do? Do we need a motion on this? Okay, well, let's just go ahead and do it.
Let's go ahead and do it.
So, okay, we have a motion on the table. All in favor of the motion? Aye. Okay, it's unanimous, so we'll move forward with that motion. Staff, direction for the staff to move forward on this.
They're not doing
What
it.
am I doing?
Well,
No, not staff.
well,
us.
it's
Okay.
the attorney's you guys, but you're going to work with the attorney and,
We will have questions for staff.
yes, you
I
will.
won't be there to answer.
All right, so we're good on that? We're going to move forward, okay?
Okay.
All right, code enforcement report.
In your
Lead us
packet. In between, we're right now, timing is such, we're in between some of the notices being sent, inspections for the violations. I did receive a rough bullet list of some of the updates to the nuisance ordinances, and I'll get those to the town attorney for review. And basically, it's expanding a lot of the definitions to strengthen our ability to mitigate some of those nuisances that our hands are kind of tied on. Changing the length of the grass, the RV nuisance ordinance, and things like that.
When will Matt be ready to bring something to the council?
Well, he sent me what
Yeah, it's when
his
all
suggestions
that
are, and
is
I'm
there.
gonna have Karen review it first.
Oh, okay, gotcha, okay. Can you shoot that out to us as soon as it's,
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
just got it. So.
okay, as soon as legal gets through with it, okay. All right, cool. All right, anything else? You good with that?
I'm good with that. That's it.
Okay, update from finance officer, tax collector. Come on up, Leslie.
Okay, you have in your packets your regular monthly financial statements. They're pretty straightforward. Next month, I probably will be bringing you a budget amendment just to true up any accounts that may need truing up. They're looking pretty good, so I don't think there'll be anything significant there. The other thing you have in your packets are your quarterly updates on your ARP and your SCIF and your park money. So it shows you what we have spent year to date or fiscal year to date and how much money is left in each of those. You have the proposed budget for fiscal year 27. That is going an increase of revenues and expenses for the current year is 2.987. Next year's proposed is 3,160,000, which is just a little over 5% increase. That stems primarily from the ad valorem tax base increase, and then the additional sales tax and utility franchise we're hoping to have come in next year. So it's pretty much a straightforward budget. There wasn't a whole lot of differences between last year and this year. The one large ticket item on there is mast arms. They were actually in this year's budget, didn't get done, so they're postponed to next year, which explains why right for this year we still have a little cushion, so because we didn't spend that money. So, and then do you guys have any questions about the budget? I know I've met with some of you, so we will take this budget that's presented unless we make changes to it here and now, and that will be what we have a public hearing on next month. So if you want to make a change, now is the time.
And the rate is the current rate.
The
will
rate
be
is
the same
remains
for
the
next year.
remains the same at 3.5 cents.
Okay,
Yes.
no tax rate increase.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
When was the last time that town council had had any changes in terms of their the stipend that was out?
Yeah, it's probably been 10 years ago. I think it was when Bill, Dieter, and Lisa were here. We did I thought it was 15. Was it 13? Okay. Yeah. Well. Anyhow, a while. But they did a survey of all the neighboring municipalities and the League of Municipalities for towns with our size and our services, but it has not been reviewed since then. So
I have a question about the audit. Is that, we're approving, new auditor?
That was my next thing.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
I was going to do that separate. We will be going out for a request for proposal for a new audit service for next year. So the budget has what is, I believe that it's, let me just double check. Yeah, the budget is more than what our current contract is. I know that from the bids that we got for this past year, all the bids were higher than our current contract, but this budget has that higher amount in it.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll be in that range. But speaking to that, as you are aware, our audited financial statements, we turn them into the local government commission. They're due December 31st.
Right.
Our previous auditor has stepped away from doing government audits. So we went out for bid to get a new auditor. We got 4 proposals. We went with an auditor who has been auditing Mineral Springs and Wesley Chapel for quite a few years. Something has happened this year, and she failed to perform the contract. We did not get the financial statements by December 31st. We amended the contract and gave to March 31st because that's the drop dead date. Did not get the financial statements by March 31st. We received a notice of noncompliance from the treasurer's office. If we can get our financial statements audited and submitted by June 30th, everything's kosher, we're all good.
Good.
So what we are in the process of doing is I have reached out to the current auditor to try to terminate the contract mutually.
Mhm.
Have not heard back. The last communication I had with her was April 12th. I cannot get a hold of her. Karen is drafting a letter to send to work on that, and it will also go to the LGC. You approved in your consent agenda. I reached out to our prior auditor, and she has agreed to take us on for 1 more year.
Okay.
She thinks she can get it completed by June 30th
Okay.
if we're able to get the contract approved and by the LGC and the audit commenced.
Okay.
If not, we will file an appeal
Thank you.
with the LGC by the June 30th deadline, explaining that it was beyond our control.
Yeah.
So,
And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, council is not happy about
oh, nobody's happy about this.
the
Yeah.
ghosting of us. And
I
it
said,
just-
I've been in, I have either audited or been audited for over 30 years and have never seen this happen.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yes,
And,
yes.
and this person had everything. It wasn't like we didn't
We
give this person.
We provided everything that she asked for,
and
yes.
She just disappeared.
Yes.
Vanished.
And the town of Wesley Chapel's in the same boat we're in, correct?
I
To your
believe, so,
knowledge.
yes.
Yeah.
Mineral Springs was not happy. They got theirs submitted on the last day. And they had to do quite a bit of cleanup to the drafts that they got before they were submitted, but they were able to get them in.
Yeah.
So
What percentage, if anything, do we pay ahead of time?
we have not paid anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that.
Good. Good.
Yes, yes. And when an invoice gets submitted, the LGC has to approve it before we pay it. And so under the circumstances, it's highly unlikely that, I mean, if anything, we might be responsible for some hours of field work that she came out to do, but nothing near what the contract calls for.
So,
Okay.
thank you.
And we will proactively put in the appeal if we get close to the deadline.
Yes,
And are uncertain.
yes. We will draft the response and have it ready to go if we need to.
And that will prevent any cutoff with the sales tax
Yes.
revenue.
Yeah,
correct?
the state passed a legislation that if audits are not received by June 30th, it is their prerogative to temporarily withhold sales tax distributions from the municipality. It's not a given. It's not like they'll do it just because, So if we respond, I think it would be highly unlikely that they would under these circumstances. So we would file the appeal, and then hopefully they would say, you're good. Hopefully we won't even have to get to that point. Hopefully we'll have I feel very comfortable using our prior auditor because she's familiar with us. She's got the drafts from last year. So it's much quicker than hiring somebody new to come in.
Yeah.
So,
The way I read that, it appeared to me that if we had not been in prior
right.
arrears and we did the appeal, it would kind of short circuit that sales tax
Right.
holdback.
Yeah. Since we have never not filed before, we have a little more grace.
Right.
Right.
Then we have a grace period to wrap things up.
Right.
With some calls.
So,
Yeah.
correct. But I will resend out an RFP for next year. We'll see what comes back. So,
Okay. No, I appreciate tremendously you working hard on this because I bugged you on it and I know Tom has. And
well,
Darcy
I mean,
has.
honestly, I send some emails, I make some phone calls, and I send some texts. But when I'm not getting answers,
You don't-
I'm not
nobody
doing a whole
responds
lot.
to you, and you're ghosted for
Right.
months. And
Right. So,
it's time to make a change.
right.
So,
But for the budget, are y'all happy?
um,
So then we will put out the public hearing notice for that.
okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. I think I shared my traffic report earlier about the traffic light. So we're good there. We are going to go into a closed session, but I don't know if the
Can I give
council-
an update?
Pardon me?
Can I give an update?
Oh, yeah, you gotta
Oh.
go to the minutes. Yeah.
Please do. I overlooked you. Sorry about that.
I just want to say that Jaslyn's appointment as the Assistant Zoning Administrator done in the consent agenda grants her the ability to sign the zoning permit, so the process is moving along. That's all she's doing. And if she's not comfortable, we've had a discussion about it, she's not comfortable signing a permit, then we work on it together and work through it. But she is on the ball. I don't, it's never fast enough for the builders, but it's moving along smoothly. The Park and Events Board will hold their first meeting on June 1st here at Town Hall at 6 p.m. The final Food Truck Friday is on the 15th. The food trucks are listed on the Facebook page, and there'll be an email going out in the morning with links to the food trucks so you can check the menus. There's a really yummy vegetarian one this time that there was a request for.
Okay.
Labella, our park people, have sent a proposal for a survey and public engagement session to add on to the park planning contract. I haven't had an opportunity to look at it yet, except the bottom line, and it's a lot of money, and I'm not sure we want to do that. Anyway, but we do need to talk about, you all need to talk about what you want to do to get the public engagement going on the park.
Yeah.
And the Office of State Budget and Management has granted a year extension for the $250,000 park grant. So we've got a
Awesome.
year to
Good
spend
deal.
it.
Yeah, I definitely want to get public engagement, get everybody's inputs and ideas on that. So we will definitely be sending something out, for that. I lost my train of thought. But before we go into a closed session, do we want to have any kind of council comments before everybody leaves? Anything left to be said?
I think Karen and Deborah and Leslie and everyone's just done a fantastic job. I think even though we appreciate you publicly, monthly, that you're still underappreciated. And I just wish that everyone that has comments to make really knew how much they did and how they really hold this town together. So thank you.
Yes.
I want to also say, I know it's been a very stressful time. I appreciate that so many people staff has worked with grace. And I appreciate all of your efforts. Thank you.
Tom?
Thank everybody who came out. Thank staff. Thank our fill-in attorney for his opining on the Council of Government. I hope people took it to heart that we are operating as we should with a council mayor with administrator form of government. And I hope everybody just takes a deep breath and goes on. I know I do not like having somebody put innuendos to me, to sully my reputation, which I take very highly, and the rest of the people on this council. Please think about what you're saying. And if you don't have something clear and factual to back up your allegations, I would just recommend don't say anything. Thank you.
Correct. And I want to say thank you to Debbie and Eileen Thelmuth, because you guys have been coming out every week and setting up those chairs and the tables for the food trucks. So thank you. And you guys are just like, working it, setting them up, tearing them down, and Karen and both of you guys, for setting all this up. So thank you for what you're doing and what you've done. And if you haven't been out to Food Truck Friday, we had a great turnout this past week. And so come out and be a part of it. And a lot of people were out here and mixing and mingling. And so this next Friday is the last one. So come out and be a part of it. And I've said my piece about trying to clean up the town. I hope people will take responsibility. It's hard. Somebody's got to make the decisions, our decisions. It's easy to armchair quarterback. It's easy to sit out there and throw rocks. It's hard to make decisions when you're getting stabbed on, arrows on both coming and going. So we want the best for the town. We signed up for this to bring value and to and just do great work for the town, and I think we've been doing that. We're going to continue to do that, and let's all think about what we're doing. If we have a conscience, and let's think about it. So with nothing else being said, we're going to go into a closed
I make a
mess.
motion that we adjourn to a closed session.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, all right. We're in a closed session, and we'll take about 10-minute break before we do this.